Hi everybody, this is Katie. Welcome to episode 4 of Botanical Garden Getaway. Today we're going to be working on the Kiddie Park area that has the primary colors. You can see the space has a peninsula, a little bit of beach, this big rock in the back. I've moved Filbert's house into this area, and then there's a little bit more down here at the back of the island. It should be fun seeing how it all comes together with these bright colors. The first thing I did is start putting down different paths. I'm just trying to divide the area up. I'm using the sand here because I know there's going to be a playground in this area, and so it made sense to me to use kind of a playground type of a sand. And I wanted to figure out where some of the flower beds were going to go, various things like that. And you'll see here I'm using a little bit of the rope fence here and there anytime that I fence off the play areas. And then I use the iron fence anytime I fence off more of the garden areas. Again, this is not supposed to be a carnival space. It's actually supposed to be a garden space that has a kiddie park. I know a lot of the places I go to, gardens, zoos, everything, there's always an area of the particular exhibit for taking the little kids to allow them someplace to come and get out all their energy and be a fun place for smaller children. And I would imagine this to be the same type of area. There are some more elaborate things like the teacup ride that I'm going to put in here. I imagine it being really small, just like it shows up, where you would put the little kids in or sit with them and put a quarter in the machine and it would run for a couple of minutes. So it's not meant to be some type of big carnival. Little kiddie park in the middle of the garden. I've moved out onto the peninsula here because I know I'm going to put the lighthouse down. I know that's pretty normal, putting the lighthouse down out on the peninsula, but that's because it also works. I've put together a little bit of this starburst path custom pattern. I really wanted it to look playful and have some energy to it. I was also looking for something that would pull in the red and blue colors of the area, so I put down a pretty good swath of it. I tried a couple of different paths. I was still trying to figure out which one looked best underneath the pattern. So I just did one of the stone paths under that lighthouse, and then I moved on to this little terracotta path. In the end, before I tour the whole thing, I do use the terracotta path because I like the way that the very middle of the star has a little bit of a yellow tone to it. I felt as if it matched the area better. That little yellow center is actually a transparent part of the pattern. I'm back over here putting down some garden space. I figured this was probably pretty big for a garden over here, but somewhere in there was going to be a garden. Again, I'm just trying to separate and identify what different areas are going to be. I always have a pretty good feel as to what I want an area to feel like and kind of the colors of an area as I'm working into it, but I don't always have an exact idea as to where particular items are going to go. So I just do a little bit of pathing as the first step to separate the area. And I do recommend that because it gives you a good idea as to how much space everything's going to take up. And I know pretty early on if I'm liking how that's working. And as I get to this point, I actually wasn't loving the way that everything was coming together, and I decided it might be from the colors. So I took a few of the big items out, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm just putting down some of the primary items for the area and decided that I might need to adjust the pattern I put together. So I lightened it up. I made it a tiny bit more teal in color so that it would better match some of the blue tones for the items, and it definitely matched the iron fencing better, which is immediately what helped. So here you can see I'm back to putting down items in this little park, which was super cute, and I'm getting ready to put the second park area together, which is over here on the beach. I did fence off the beach entirely because if this is supposed to be an area for children, I didn't want the kids running into the ocean, so at least in this area, it's been divided so that it's safer for the kids. I don't know, maybe that's silly, but You could always take the fence out later if I didn't want it there, but somehow I just needed to protect the imaginary children that could potentially be visiting my garden. Here I'm starting to put out other things from my pocket. Before I can go pick up any trees or flowers, I have to make room for them. So I'm just going through all the different things in my pocket and determining where they might go. And as you can see, I did a couple holes. Anytime when I just put a hole in the ground, that's kind of my personal code for, hey, I want to plant a tree here. And so that's what those empty holes are for. I know I'm going to put a couple palm trees in. I also want to put some trees in kind of between where the Zen garden is and where I'm at currently to help divide that beach area by the peninsula. I went and picked up the trees and now I'm dropping them in place. I think this might be my favorite part of any of the areas because all of a sudden they come to life. It all just sprouts up and it looks better almost instantly. I did have to take a fence section out there from one of the palm trees, which was fine. And that little kitty tent was perfect. I'm so excited that it came with the new Christmas toy items because it's exactly what I needed in the area. So I've got it placed up here on the rocks. I am making a little bit of a sand area here. This is for just the play sand. And then I'm trying to decide now how to do some of the flower beds because that'll be one of the next things I do. Put some of these flowers down and then I'll pick up more flowers to put them in place here too. So just trying to finish emptying my pocket up before I do that last step. I start slowing down a little bit here and I think a lot. Putting the flowers down and stuff is great, but I'm also evaluating at this stage, do I like it? Is it working? You know, how's the area coming together? It's hard to tell sometimes before you get the flowers and trees in place because they are a big part of the color and the space that you're working in. It really did make a difference for this area, the theme. The flowers made them pop. The area had the color requirements, and so it was really fun to put the flowers in. For this build, you'll see I'm using the red windflowers, the yellow and red cosmo, and the blue hyacinth. The blue hyacinth was the closest blue that I could get to a little bit of that teal from the public bench and the iron fence that I had in the area. And with that, I am just finishing up the last few details. Now that the area is done, let's go take a look and see how it came together. Again, you can see a lot of the primary colors that are in use here, the red, yellow, and blues. The little area for the kids to play. I love that she just sat down. I had to sit too because it was so sweet. The little cotton candy card and the play hats, the fun, playful song going. I wanted the area to have at least a little bit of youthful, energetic music. I only used a couple balloons because I didn't want to get carried away with those, and I love the way that they incorporated the yellow lighthouse, again to be a bright, nice yellow, but out there on the peninsula. I really love the way that it came together. I hope you guys found something useful here and that you continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.